So good evening everybody. I welcome everybody for this session on CPU scheduling. So in the last class we have discussed about the FCFS scheduling algorithm. So in this class we'll discuss about shortest job first scheduling. So it is called as SJF scheduling. Okay. See, what is this SJF scheduling? See, the process with the shortest CPU burst is allocated the CPU first. Okay, so what happens here, if two processes have the equal CPU burst, then FCFS is used to break this time. See, in this SGF scheduling, we have two types here. One is called as a primitive, right? Primitive and non-primitive SGF scheduling. Okay, so now we'll discuss the first one here, non-primitive SGF scheduling. See, what is this non-primitive SGF scheduling? See here, once the CPU is given to the CPU, right? Once the CPU is given to the process, it cannot be preempted until completes its CPU burst, right? See, example you see here, this is the shortest job first algorithm. Now, see here you have the process number, arrival time and burst time. Okay, so the process P1, here how many processes you have? You have 4 processes, P1, P2, P3, P4. The arrival time of a process P1 is 1 and burst time is 3. The arrival time of a process P2 is 2, burst time is 4. And P3 arrival time is 1, burst time is 2. P4 arrival time 4 and burst time is 4. Now, one important thing here, you should know the criteria here. Criteria is the burst time. It means that whichever process is having the least burst time, right, that process we are going to allocate to the CPU, right? And we have more non-primitivities, non-primitive, right? So here, I'll just trace this algorithm using a Gantt chart, right? See here, in what happens in the Gantt chart you have, it is just like a bar chart. Okay, so in x-axis we have the time interval, in y-axis you have the activities completed. Okay, now I'll demonstrate this SJF, right, using this Gantt chart, right? Now you think that at the time interval 0, right? Now what happens here, it will check that CPU will check any process is been arrived. See here, no process been arrived at the time 0 here. Now what happens, during this particular time, the CPU will be sitting idle. Okay, then what happens, so you are going to execute one unit here, right? One unit. Next, during this particular 1 unit, see, you can treat it as an 1 minute or 1 hour, right? So just for the demonstration purpose here, see, for during the first hour you think that no process has been arrived, so it is ideal, the CPU is sitting ideal. Now during the hour 1, you check that any process has been arrived, CPU check that any process has been arrived. Yeah, see here, P1 process has been arrived as well as P3 process has been arrived. Now what happens here, which process will be allocated for the CPU? So whichever the process having less burst time. See, when you take process P1 and process P3, which is having the least burst time? See, process P3 is having the least burst time, right? So what happens here? Process P3 get executed, right? How many hours it will be executed? It will be executed for the 2 units. See, now you are going to, what you are going to say, that you are going to execute in a non-primitive mode, right? So till the completion of the process, so the CPU will execute the full process till the completion of the process, right? Now what happens here? Now P3 will execute, and P3 you're going to remove it from the memory. It is over. Okay. Next, during this particular hour, you think that it is the 3rd hour, any process is been arrived, right? Now here you see, now you have now P3 has been completed, over it is. Now you have P1. Okay. Now P3 you have, P1 you have, P3 you have, P1 and P3. Sorry, you have P1 and P2 you have. So the process P1 is arrived in the 1st hour, process P2 is arrived in 2nd hour. Now what happens, I told you this, the CPU check whichever burst time is less, it is going to execute that process. Now you just see here, P1 burst time is 3, P2 burst time is 4, right? P2 burst time is 4, which in process P1, P2, which one is having the less burst time? 3. Okay. Then what happens? The process P1 get executed. How long it will get executed? For 3 units. 3 units you're going to execute. Okay. 3 units you're going to execute, and you're going to remove the process P1 from the memory. Over it is. Okay. Next what happens? During the, now 3 plus 3, it is 6 here. This is 6. During the 6th hour, it will check that any process is been arrived here. Yeah. See, now what happens? P1 is over, P3 is over. Now P4 has been arrived here. Okay. Right. P4 has been arrived. Now how many processes are there? P2 is there and P4 is there. Now P2 burst time is 4, as well as P4 burst time is 4. See here, you check the burst time of both the process P2 and P4, it is same here. It is 4. Here also it is 4. Now according to you, which process will get executed? So before that, you used to choose on the burst time, because now burst time is same. Now which process you are going to choose? You have to choose based on the arrival time. First come, first serve, FCFS. Now which has a process which has been first arrived here? P2, right? It has arrived first. Now what you have to do? You have to execute this particular process. See how long you have to execute? You check the burst time here. You check the burst time, 4 units. 4 units you execute it. Means 6 plus 4, 10. Okay. Now what happens? This process P2 will get executed and removed from the memory. Right. Now at the time 14, sorry, at the time 10, CPU will check that any process has been arrived. No other process, right? One process you have, that is in, what you say, that memory, that is 4. Next what happens? CPU execute this particular 4th process for the 4 units, right? Then what happens? It will remove from the memory, right? So this is how shortest job first work. See, after this Gantt chart, now you are going to find out the completion time, right? Now how you are going to find out the completion time? How you are going to find out the completion time? Completion time of the process P1. right? See, P1 we have, at the right side you check. Right side, the completion time is 6th hour. Process P1 complete in 6th hour. Now, when does the process P2 will complete? See, at the right side, you check that it is 10. When does the process P3 complete? P3 complete in the 3rd hour. So, when does the process P4 complete? At the 14th hour. That is, right? This is completion time. Now, turnaround time. TAT means what? Turnaround time. How are you going to find out the turnaround time? Right? Completion time minus arrival time. So the completion time of a process P1 is 6, arrival time is 1. 6 minus 1 is 5, right? Now the completion time of a process P2 is 10 and arrival time is 2. 10 minus 2, it is 8. The completion time of a process P3 is 3 and arrival time is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. Next, the completion time of a process P4 is 14, arrival time is 4. 14 minus 4 is 10. Right? Yes or no? Next, WT, waiting time. How we are going to find out the waiting time? Turnaround time minus burst time will give you the waiting time. Now you just see here, the turnaround time is 5, burst time is 3. What is 5 minus 2? 5 minus 3 is 2. Next, turnaround time for a process P2 is 8, burst time is 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. Next, turnaround time for a process P3 is 2, right? What is the burst time? 2, right? 2 minus 2, it is 0. Turnaround time for a process P4 is 10, burst time is 4, it is 6. Now response time, how are you going to find out the response time? So when the process has got first time the CPU minus arrival time. See, when this process P1 got the first time the CPU, process P1, this is process P1, right? When does it got the first time the CPU? This process, left side you check 3, right? So first time the process got the CPU cycle is 3. Okay, what is the arrival time? Is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. Next, what is the response time for the process P2? See, it is, what is this? 6, right? 6. When does the process P2 got the CPU? 6. What is an arrival time of a process? Is 2. 6 minus 2 is 4, right? Next, process P3. When does the process P3 got the memory? During this particular interval 1. Now, what is 1 minus 1? 0, right? 0 it is. Next, when did the process P4 got the CPU for a first time? P4, left side I have to check 10. What is an arrival time? 10 minus 4 is 6, right? 2, 4, 0, 6. This is the response time, right? Now you just see that. Next, if you want to calculate total turnaround time, right? Total, that is total average, right? Average turnaround time, right? See, this is ATT, average turnaround time. How are you going to calculate the average turnaround time? See, you add all this column, TAT column. Now 8 plus 2, 10, 10 plus 10, 20, 20 plus 5, 25. 25 divided by number of process. So 25, what is 25 divided by 4? What is 25 divided by 4? See, 4 5 are 20, 4 6 are 24 point, right? point 4 2 ja 8, 4 5 ja 20, right? That is, you'll get around 6.25, right? Now average waiting time, how much you're going to get the average waiting time? 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 2, 12, around average waiting time, it is 3, right? So thank you. This is about shortest job first in non-primitive mode.